This hexagonal road pattern is 2.25 times better than grid pattern. This video explains the math behind it and why it's exactly 2.25 times better. It has three parts. In the first part we calculate a lot of data about it, for example population density and road capacity. In the second part I show you recommendations for specific parameters that will make our life 10 times better while we calculate the third part, which is calculating the total number of cars that will go through each one of the intersection in every given moment and comparing it to the grid. But first, how to build it. Start from creating an elaborate hexagon that's made out of 4-lane one-way road. Then take all its edges, twice the length of the original hexagon in each direction, and build another hexagon that goes in the opposite direction of the first one that surrounds all the new roads, and repeat. If you want to work even better, put traffic lights in all of the intersections, and in the external hexagon to continue the roads to other parts of the city as the main connections to them. Notice that it works the best as main roads. Now the first part. We will say that x equals the amount of hexagons that surrounds the first hexagon, or in other words, the layers of the city. We will also say that t represents total of h and g will be hexagons and grid. H is single hexagon and x is the big one. I will be in intersections, L will be the length of the roads between the intersections, and also h equals L, G equals L. A will be area, R will be road, C will be capacity, and M will be movement of people between parts of the city. And now we can start calculating the data. Hx equals hexagon in each layer, because every layer have hexagons as the total amount of triangles on the hexagons in the previous layer, and every layer have 6 hexagons with 2 external edges, and all the hexagons have 1 external layer. Hx plus 1 equals hx minus 6 plus 6 times 2 equals hx, so because it's an invoice series, and h2 equals 6 except h1 that's equal to 1, hx equals 6 times x minus 1. Th is the total number of hexagons equals h1 plus sum hx equals to 1 plus 0.5 x times 2 times 0 plus 6 x minus 1 equals 3x squared minus 3x plus 1. To make life easy for us, we will say that tg is a square number, and because hexagons are bigger than squares, we will say that th is smaller than tg, so the total area will be more or less equal. So tg equals square of root th equals square root 3x squared minus 3x plus 1. TLH equals total length of main roads in the hexagonal pattern, because all of the main roads in this pattern are edges of hexagons and none of the hexagons share edges with each other. TLH equals th times 6l equals 6l times 3x squared minus 3x plus 1. TLG equals total length of main roads in grid pattern equals 2 times root tg times root tg plus 1. IH equals number of intersections in each layer of the hexagonal pattern equals the amount of intersections in the triangles between the hexagons equals 3hx equals 18 times x minus 1 except IH1 equals 6. TIX equals total intersections in the hexagonal pattern equals IH1 plus 0.5x times 2 times 0 plus 18 times x minus 1 equals 9x squared minus 9x plus 6. TIG equals total intersections in the grid pattern equals root tg plus 1 square. AX equals the area of the big hexagon equals root 6.75 times L times 6 divided by 6, and all of this is square equals root 6.75 L to x minus 1 square. AH equals the area of each of the hexagons equals root 6.75 L square. ATH equals the area of all the small hexagons combined equals TH times AH equals root 6.75 3x square minus 3x plus 1 times L square. AG equals the area of the big square equals TG times L square. And now the second part. For the beginning, we will say that the main roads in the hexagonal pattern are 4 lanes, one-way roads, and in the grid it will be 3 lanes, two-way roads. We will also say that L equals 1 kilometer, so the area of each of the main small hexagons is root 6.75 kilometers square, and the diameter will be 2 kilometers times 2x minus 1. For most of the next calculations, we will use x equals 2, which is about the map size of vanilla CS1, and the smallest x where the math starts to work. We will also say that people wants to go only to the hexagons and not to the triangles. We also want to have population density of about 6,000 people per square kilometer, which is close to the population density of big cities with good quality of life, like London. So if we will have 18,000 people per hexagon, the population density will be equal to 18,000 th divided by ax equal 18,000 times 3x squared minus 3x plus 1 divided by root 6.75 times kilometer 2x minus 1 square equals 5,388 people per square kilometer. Because the area of the small squares in the grid is kilometer square, the population per grid will be the population density, which is 5,388 people per square kilometer. But now the hexagonal pattern is more than 2 times the population of the grid pattern, so we'll double the population and round it to about 11,600 people per grid. We will say that the speed of the cars will be 40 kilometers an hour, so it will take 1.5 minutes to drive from intersection to intersection. If we have 2 entrances and 2 exits from each one of the edges of the hexagons in each direction, we'll say that without traffic it will take 2 minutes to drive from intersection to intersection. Now we'll calculate the road capacity, intersection capacity, and entrance and exit capacity. RCH per kilometer equals road capacity of hexagon per kilometer equal 4 lanes times 1000 meter divided by 1 second plus average car length equals 4000 meters divided by 11 meters plus 4.5 meter equals 250. After the space with the intersection takes plus car accidents etc. we'll say 200 cars. RCH per kilometer per hour equal road capacity of hexagon per kilometer per hour equals 6000 cars per hour, 3000 per direction. RCH equal road capacity of hexagon equals TLH times RCH divided by kilometer equal 6 times 3 times 2 square minus 3 times 2 plus 1 times 200 cars equals 8400 cars. RCG per kilometer equals road capacity of grid per kilometer equals 3 lanes times 1000 meter divided by 1 second plus car length equals 4000 meters divided by 60 meters. We'll also say 200 cars. RCG per kilometer per hour equals road capacity of grid per kilometer per hour, same as hexagon but 2000 per direction. RCG equals road capacity of grid equals 2 TLG times RCG per kilometer equals 4 root TG times root TG plus 1 times 200 equals 9600 cars. If the entrance is 1 lane in and 1 lane out in 40 kilometers per hour, the entrance capacity per age will be 2 times 40 kilometers per hour divided by 1 second plus car size equals 5000 cars per hour. ICH times direction equals intersection capacity of hexagon per direction per hour equal 4 times 40 kilometers divided by 1 second plus car size times 2 hours equals 2500 cars per hour. ICG per h times direction equal intersection capacity of grid per direction per hour equals 4 times 40 kilometers divided by 1 second plus car size times 3 times 4h equals 625 cars per hour. Notice that the bottleneck is in the intersections, so we need to calculate the third part using only them. And now the third part. We will start by saying that the hexagon pattern has a unique rotation symmetry where the amount of people that goes through each intersection in the same direction and distance from the central hexagon is equal. So if x equals 2 and we name the intersection by the distance from the center hexagons, we will have the intersection 1, 2, 3.1 and 3.2. We can find the same type of symmetry in the grid pattern where we have the intersections 1, 2 and 3. Now I had to count down manually the total number of cars that go through each intersection and what is the stage in the table, or in other words how much this car had to drive to get to the intersection. I put it in the table where the first number is for cars that enter the junction in the first entrance clockwise and continue straight. The second is for cars that go right, and the third and fourth are the same direction but with the second entrance. The table for the hexagonal pattern. I follow the same principles in the grid pattern given as the table. Now imagine yourself that you are a car that goes through a bottleneck. After you go through this bottleneck and reach to the second one, the amount of cars that went through the second one is equal to the amount of cars that went through the first one. So if you want to calculate the amount of time that it will take each one of the cars to reach their destination equals the time that it will take to all the cars to go through the biggest bottlenecks plus length of the drive. Now if we will say that every second person in our city drives, we will calculate that mh equals the amount of cars that wants to go from each hexagon to all of the other hexagons equals 18,000 divided by 6 times 2 equals 1500, and that mg equals 11,600 divided by 2 times 8 equals 725. Now we will divide the m times the maximum number in the table by the intersection capacity and add 2 minutes for each kilometer we need to drive and get 80 minutes in the hexagonal pattern and 180 minutes in the grid pattern. After dividing them in each other, we find that the hexagonal pattern is 2.25 times better for traffic flow than the grid pattern. It took me quite a lot of time to make this video, so if you've enjoyed it, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel. It'll help me a lot, so see you next time. Bye!